Hello everybody and welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I posted anything. In fact, it was last Thanksgiving. A few weeks after that, my mother-in-law suddenly passed away, and she'd been my mother-in-law for almost 34 years. She was a great woman, and she is surely missed. Amongst other things that took place personally, I am glad to be back in the shop and working on these items for you. This was a massive undertaking, much more than I anticipated at the beginning, but we have got it together, and what you're going to see in this video is assembly of each case, and in the video to follow in about a week you will see the assembly of the lathe itself, which I am very proud of. And then we've got various other machines to follow that. Anyway, welcome back and thank you for your patience. And I hope you enjoy this. It was a lot of work, a lot of editing, and I try to put everything in the video, even though it's at high speed, so that you can actually see how this machine is put together. I hate to see videos where stuff is left out. I won't say it's 100%, but we'll say it's 98% of what's there, the important stuff. Anyway, enjoy, and I'm sure you'll hear my voice down the line in the video. Thank you. It always amazes me when I come across my English Bulldog's hair inside something where it absolutely should not be. Here she is, sound asleep with her moose, and right here with her sister Moffat.
Right there. Mary Ellen Moffat. She broke my heart.
By the way, this is the transmission for the lathe. It has 3 different speeds for setting up for cutting threads. Right here we have the center rest, which we are assembling. It turned out really nice. Right here what we have is the clutch assembly. It goes in the very top of the drive carriage, and it's connected by 2 chains to the front pulley for the belt. It has 2 clutches inside it. They look like brake shoes, but we're going to call them a clutch because that's what they do. I'm going to be sliding those out right now. Here comes the first one. And come on, George, pull the clutch out. All right, there we go. Those little ears on there slide up in there, and when the shifter is pushed back and forth, it spreads those ears out so that they grab inside those little drums right there. There's one on each end. As you can see, I'm installing the clutch assembly in the top of the drive carriage. I am putting in brand new bearings. I did replace all the bearings in the lathe. Unfortunately, I lost the footage of me mounting this assembly on the lathe. I've looked everywhere to try to recover it. It's not even on my iCloud. Pulled up an error for some reason. I've just installed the little clutch arm that slides the hub back and forth to shift it from high to low. I'm installing the chains now. They look like old transfer case chains, but this is what came on it in 1925. And here we come to the lovely headstock, which I had powder coated one color and scratched it up somehow. I wasn't happy, so I completely ground all the powder coat off of it, re-sandblasted it, and reshot it. And as you can see, it came out to be very pretty yellow there. Anyway, enjoy the assembly of this. And now we have finished the headstock and we are working on the collet tray. I found broom handles to have the perfect size wood for the collet tray. This holds all your various collets, and the ones that came on it were in good shape, but they had actually shrunk over the years and the collets wouldn't stand on them, and that was disturbing me, so I decided to install this instead. Well, because I had to change the color on the headstock, the tailstock required the same thing. I found it a little bizarre how many times I kept shoving the post in and out of there. But as you can see, it turned out to be a very lovely yellow. From this angle it looks orange, but you'll see some different angles soon that will show its actual color. Right here I'm just showing how I honed it out originally. When I reshot it with powder coat, I made sure I didn't get any stuck in there so the shaft wasn't jammed up. This part is very important that I'm sliding in there. That is actually what kicks out your tapered tools on the end. If that's not in there, when you go to crank it back, the tapered tool won't come out unless you knock it out with a hammer. Okay, we are on to the quick change gear case. There are 9 larger gears on here. This is actually another spot that has a shifter inside it to change the speed of the lathe, how quickly the saddle travels back and forth. Also is determined by the speed of the spindle when it's in rotation. This was a very interesting piece to put back together. It was not as complicated as it was to take apart for sure, but the little shifters on here are quite interesting, as you can see, and this is what you actually use to shift it in these different gears. I'll explain further how all of that works once we show you what the lathe actually looks like assembled. There is also another spot on the lathe where you can actually replace the gears and change this speed as well. This seems to have an indefinite number of options for gear change. If you will look very carefully at the bottom of this arrow, you're going to see a gear that fell out. It's a gear with a shaft with another gear on it. See it right there? Well, that's how I found it when I went back to watch videos. As you can see, I still haven't figured out where it goes. I will before I assemble this, I promise you. I think here shortly I figure out where I believe it should go. There was a shaft I pulled out of the machine prior to removing this case, and when I did, that gear fell down, and this, hey, look, there George goes. Check him out, figuring out where it goes. Awesome. Anyway, that fell out, and after I removed that piece and looked back over at the tray on the lathe and saw it laying there, I was clueless as to where it went and or its purpose, but I'll get more into its purpose later down the road. Alrighty, and here we are installing wool felt into the oiler orifices or holes on the saddle. Prior to this, my only experience with saddles was motorcycles and horses. The last time I rode a horse was just a couple months before I had my back surgery 18 years ago, and I haven't ridden anything with 4 legs or 2 wheels since. Anyway, this was really neat learning experience. This thing came out absolutely stunning with the jeweling. You got to have a lot of patience to sit there and pull that drill press that many times, but it came out quite beautiful, as did the entire lathe. Anyway, here we go. Let's put it together. Okay, so right here I am bluing the hardware. I found this to be a much easier and faster way, and it actually turned out fantastic.
Yeah, let's burn him. Yeah. Cool. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah, that first one was just a warm-up. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to assemble the apron now. It has many components, and like everything else, it came out very good. There was only one broken component in the lathe, and it's this lever right here. I'll explain later in the next video what the lever is for. I did try to braze it, but I was unable to repair it that way. So I ended up making one out of steel instead, and this should definitely last another 100+ years. I would assume the broken piece was why they shut the lathe down many moons ago. Thanks again for watching. Please smash that bell and subscribe so that I can bring you better content and even better videos. Thank you.